Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode. I'm super grateful guys. I've been seeing all the views and the comments and the likes. Thank you guys so much. So I promised you guys on this channel that I'll be doing a lot of mental health talk, right? So today I have a guest with me. We're going to talk about a very special, something very unique that a lot of people don't talk about, and this concerns you and I. So if you're interested in this topic and if you want to know who is my guest today on this show, guys, trust me, just wait and watch till the end. Thank you.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
Hi guys, welcome back. So with me here is Tola. Tola, say hi to our beautiful viewers.
Hi everyone.
Yes guys, so we're going to talk about something very important today, like I told you guys, right? So what do you have for us today?
I think basically we'll be looking at a topic titled PTSD. That's post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay, PTSD.
Yeah.
All right.
So basically I think a lot of people suffer from this a lot.
Yeah.
And they don't know that they're actually going through it. So I'm hoping to probably enlighten some of our viewers on these PTSD signs and how it can be managed.
Okay, that's good. So we look at, can you just give us like a definition, because like you saying PTSD, I think for a layman out there should be able to understand what it means, like in a day definition, something, just define it, like what it means.
Okay, so PTSD, popularly known as shell shock, could be characterized by failure to recover from a traumatic event. So when you just realize that you're not being able to recover from something that was terrifying, that happened to you in the past, you just find out that it keeps reoccurring at your daily routine. It keeps reoccurring. It's not allowing you to feel free even among people. You know, a lot of people feel that you're crazy or you're not being able to understand what your environment is saying. Psychologists will say you can't respond to stimuli, or you're not associating with the environment as good as you can, associate with it. Or you just realize that a lot of things are being manhandled because you are not able to get off this terrifying experience. So PTSD is basically a disorder, characterized by failure to get off a terrifying experience or a traumatic event.
Okay, wow. Yeah. So from what I get now is someone has a very terrifying experience, and that experience keeps like reoccurring in the person's mindset. And I think with this, I remember I had this experience once. I think when I was much younger, I went to a pool to swim. I almost got drowned. Like, in fact, I don't know how it happened, but I think the last thing I remembered as I was just in water, when I got out the water, I saw people around me, my eyes were opened, I saw people, I didn't really know what happened. And I think that gave me a shock. I think you mentioned something like shell shock, right? Yeah. That shell should be like coming out of your own real self. Exactly. That's what that shell means. Okay. So I've had that experience, yeah. And I think it took me like 2 years for me to start going into water and the rest. Okay. Yeah. So another example could be, let's say for a child who was raped when the person was underage, when growing up, the child will find it very hard to maybe mingle with men or something like that. Any experience at all? Okay. So what do you think, what are like the symptoms? How do you recognize someone, like, what happens in these countries? A lot of people don't look out for all these symptoms, like when it comes to, let's say for instance, for like murder, right, for like someone who is suicidal, a lot of persons don't really know how to detect how this person is. You find out that people who are very close to you, people who you sleep with on the same bed, just wake up the next day to commit suicide. Or you find out that they have been exhibiting some kind of symptoms before that, of which if you were careful about it, you would have known that, okay, this person is suicidal. So for PTSD, what are kind of the symptoms that the person can, let's say, showcase to see that this person is going through?
Okay, I think in my definition, as I earlier said, I forgot to add something which I feel some people should know. So a lot of people diagnose themselves PTSD without actually understanding that PTSD doesn't just happen like that. So the underlying factor is that at least you must be experiencing some of these symptoms for at least 6 months non-stop. So it's not like you're having probably a symptom like nausea, and then all of a sudden in the next 1 month you're not having that symptom again. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that when you're displaying some of the symptoms, it means that you have been displaying them for good probably 6 months to a year for one to raise an alarm.
Okay, that means something like continuously.
Exactly.
Not something you just do at once.
At once.
Okay, continuously.
Yeah. So some of the symptoms could be shock. I mean, the popular name for it is shell shock.
Yeah.
So some of the symptoms could be shock. It could be nausea. You could have this wanting to vomit. It could be anything that will put you in a panic attack. You know, it could be profusely sweat. It could be profuse sweat. Sorry. So when you just realize that you're sweating profusely or something, or you can't get yourself together, it could mean that that person has suffered PTSD. So these are some of the underlying nightmares. You see something and you just wake up from it and you will not know that that thing is playing back. Yes. You will think that you are in a nightmare or something. It could be even objects that could take you back to the past. So probably the rapist was wearing a wrist, a bangle, or maybe something, and then she sees the same color,
same thing,
probably,
yes,
or
and then it brings back that
exactly.
Memory. Like, I saw
so
this
it
thing
brings
somewhere, that kind of thing.
It brings back that memory.
Yes.
It could be an accident that, I mean, it's not you that is involved. It's not the person, but the accident is just so terrifying. Probably the color of the car or something. Then it brings back throwbacks and everything. So that's some of the symptoms.
Just like me, about the issue of the water thing. I know this thing happened like some months or years ago, but each time I see water, trust me, it might not even be the same pool. But each time I get to a pool, you just notice that I have this shock, like the memory just keeps coming out and I can't even go into the water at all. So I think basically one of the symptoms, or how to know that someone has PTSD, watch out for people, their attitude towards things. Attitude towards things. Like probably someone is around you, let's say for a lady, and each time a guy comes close to her, or each time she sees a guy, she's always scared, she doesn't want to mingle out, all those kind of things. If you're a very deep person, you could just go, kind of ask questions. What is wrong? You can confide in me, ask some kind of intelligent questions. Just go and ask questions. You need to be very observant with people around you, even from kids. One thing about kids is a lot of kids don't know how to express themselves.
Exactly. Yes.
Like for this issue of rape thing, some kids were raped and threatened not to say anything. So in that kind of issue, you don't expect that person or that kid to just come out and be telling you. It takes a lot of intelligence, a lot of patience, to identify someone who has PTSD, and probably during interview ask very reasonable questions to know what is going on with the person. Yes. So how is this being treated? Yes, let's say we've recognized someone who has PTSD. I've spoken to this person, I've known that this is what is happening. How do I get this person to come out of that shell shock? How is it done?
Okay, in the past there used to be this therapy that was used, and well, it's in the past. It could be used, okay, in this modern day because it has been proven and it has been tested. And of course, it's by the founding father of psychology, Sigmund Freud himself. And you know, this is the talking therapy. Okay. The talking therapy where you just want to find out what happened in the person's past life. Of course, in psychology, we have terms like the id, ego, and the superego. So we believe that whatever you are displaying is as a result of the id and the ego, actually.
Yeah.
So whatever you see outside is because these things are already back inside in places we cannot see. So the id is like your unconscious, the ego is like your subconscious, and while the superego is your consciousness. So we believe that these things that might have happened, I might not be there as a psychologist, but through talking therapy and knowing that, oh, these are the things that happened, I could be able to find out what actually happened to actually, you know, be able to help the client manage such a situation. But then currently we have two major kinds of therapy which we use, and that's the cognitive therapy and the exposure therapy. Yeah.
Okay, I think she's going into the terminologies as a specialist or an expert in her field. So please come down to our level as a layman. When you talk of cognitive therapy, what do you mean by that?
Okay, the cognitive therapy is dealing with your mental awareness.
Okay.
Anything that revolves around you mentally is called cognitive. So from the word cognition, you get the word cognitive. So anything that revolves around that could be called cognitive. And as the name implies, okay, like I earlier on explained, that some things might have happened in the past. I wasn't there, but to get it out is like I have to dive in that part of your life to be able to bring you to consciousness and to tell you that this thing can never happen again, or maybe it happened because of one situation or the other. So in this therapy, what we do is, you know, we face your we face the ailment mentally. So we only recognize that it is because of the way you see it, of the way you view it.
So that's like trying to change the person's
perception about it.
Just like me now that was scared of water, you can just tell the person, go into the water, you will not
Exactly,
drown or
you will
something.
not drown.
Or maybe like taking a practical step towards it to see that you went into the water and
nothing happened.
Yes.
So that's just it. And the essence of the cognitive therapy is probably to help you adjust to your daily routine. The one. Number two will be to help with your mental well-being. And number three will be for you to be able to associate with your environment. Psychologists call it stimuli. So there must be an interaction between you and the environment. It's not like people are laughing and you know you are panicking or something, or people are wondering what's going on with you. So cognitive therapy deals with your mental processes. And of course, you said perception. So as it's dealing with your mental processes, it also involves your perception and how you see life. So it starts from your mental consciousness first. It gets into your perception. So that's cognitive therapy.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is really, really enlightened, guys. I'm loving this session. And you said there were two types, cognitive and the other
Exposure. Yes.
So can you just throw more light on the exposure therapy?
Okay, on the exposure therapy, here the psychologist believes that when you're exposed to that thing that made you scared, okay, it could bring it down a bit and just tell you that, oh, like you mentioned, you were afraid of water, and then maybe a therapist could just tell you that, oh, it's just water, it won't do anything to you or whatever. So in this kind of therapy, the psychologist or the clinician exposes you to that stimuli that you're afraid of. So, you know, being exposed to it number of times countless of times, you now begin to overcome any anxiety or any fear. So that's just exposure. I think there are two types: the in vitro and the vivo. So one is where you go test some things in the laboratory. I wouldn't want to dive into that part because of course it only involves people who have been in the field and all of that. While the first one is basically just exposing you to that type of stimuli. So if you hate snakes, okay, in that kind of treatment, you could be shown snakes. If you're this kind of person that you don't like crowd, you just can't compose yourself when you don't. Probably they could get an audience where you could be exposed to see that kind of crowd and make you talk and talk and talk until you get over it. So that's just it.
So I want to ask, because this thing you just said something. Yeah, some children, like in children, and being a child expert, I feel like sometimes a child predisposes some kind of fear or anxiety towards something. Could it be that? Could it be that? I don't know how to ask this question now.
Okay.
Does it? Okay, fine. Do I have to have an experience to have PTSD?
Okay.
Like, do I need to have an experience? I don't know if you understand the question to have PTSD, because I don't know. I think I'm asking this question because I have a little 5-year-old that she's maybe when she goes out, she doesn't like crowd. So could it be that she has an experience with something that makes her afraid of crowd, or it could? Should we be looking out for something else? Because I think I read about autism, stuff like that, and the rest. I think part of the symptoms for autism is different or something. But I'm just, anxious. I don't know if
okay. Well, let me say this.
It's normal.
Even under PTSD, we have so many disorders that could follow. You have the OCD, you have the panic attacks, you have the anxiety disorder. So PTSD is an overview, okay? So it doesn't mean that all other disorders cannot come through it. Although autism is a disorder on its own.
Yes, and I think one of these days we need to talk about that.
And then autism, if you look at autism, unlike PTSD, PTSD happens with experience. So failure to get out of that experience is what leads to PTSD. But autism, most times the child is being born with it.
That's biological.
Exactly. It's being born with it. And then you realize some character traits like, maybe he can't seem to get...
don't go into...
Okay, let's not go into...
I want us to really do something about autism.
Okay.
So it's something we'll have to do probably when she comes back here. We're going to really talk about that part of it. So I won't allow her to dive down in there. But from what you've heard and everything, I really learned a lot of that. I don't know about you. PTSD is an experience, something you need to look out for, and a lot of persons around us are really going through this. So let's, from this time, just like she said, go through this video, listen to how you can be able to detect people with people that are going through PTSD. Bring them out and try to help them, because it's very important. Some of these things are what leads people to being suicidal as well. So thank you so much, T, for joining me, for enlightening us.
It's always a
I'm
pleasure.
so happy that you're on this channel. Like, you guys, you don't know my joy knows. To bring this lady here, it's not easy. You know what I went through?
Don't say that. Don't say that. Because I'm not that difficult.
To bring her
I'm
here.
not that difficult.
Oh, Jesus, you don't understand.
But it's always a
thank
pleasure.
you. It's also a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to having you again.
Of course.
Yes, to do more on this. So thank you guys so much for joining. Before we go, please guys, I don't know if I started to help you guys beg me. Yes, I know the community right now is kind of small, but please share videos, like, and comment. The comment thing, I don't know why someone watched a video on my YouTube, then come to my WhatsApp to throw a comment. I'm like, what happened to the YouTube space? I think there's a space there for you to use it. Don't come to my WhatsApp and start telling me how you love the video, what should be done and what should not be done. Please guys, use all the buttons on the channel, like, share and subscribe, and this is a very important piece. Please share and like. Thank you so much guys for watching. I love you. Thank you, T. Bye.